Hey, what's going on, guys? JetXC, and we finally have information on Life Infinite Sight's abilities. Now, I will say from what I've already read, seems fairly simple. But let's just get into it immediately. So, dual SMG, right? Akimbo weapons, element kinetic, roll ballistic DPS. Okay, so here's some preview shots. Let me zoom in for you guys here, so you guys can actually see. So she's looking great. Oh my god, on the left here. Keeping this kind of power under control is like drawing a circle in a single stroke with you in the middle. Wow, that's actually I actually like that quote a lot. What the hell? That makes sense. I like it. Okay, so here we go. Standard ability, Limitless Blade of Frost. Here's a demonstration. Her jumping around everywhere. Okay, so let's take a look. So tip, Infinite Sight prioritizes using her standard ability to mark enemies, which allows her to more effectively use her powers. So here we go. Life dashes, dealing damage to and marking nearby enemies. When Life hits a marked enemy with a flash attack, deal additional kinetic damage to all marked enemies. Enemies can have multiple marks applied to them, but the bonus damage from the flash attack is reduced on additional marked enemies on additional marked enemies applied to the same enemy. So essentially her dash is what's going to have this special mark on enemies, and that'll cause extra damage when shooting against them. So this little flash step that she does is it's pretty important in terms of just spreading overall damage, and obviously it's reduced if it's been spread multiple times. Passive, Life gains additional movement and dodge speed. Attacking enemies will generate flash stacks. Okay. Increased when attacking marked enemies. Flash stacks do not grant invulnerability but increase Life's CC resistance, crowd control resistance, and provide damage reduction. Life's critical hit chance and fire rate will increase the damage of her flash attacks. Wow. Okay, so critical hit chance and fire rate increases the damage. Okay, so you definitely want to build fire rate and critical hit on her. But yeah, as she's moving around like this, I'm guessing whenever this meter charges is when she's able to do her little dodge techniques. So that's the passive there. Neuronic 1, when equipped with a kinetic weapon, shots that ricochet will also grant flash stacks. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. That's actually really good. So you'll get the flash step even if you get ricocheted. Neuronic 2, after using her standard ability, Life instantly gains maximum flash stacks. Okay, interesting, interesting. So that's a nice little neuronic. So no matter what, after using her ability, she'll gain a flash stack, and she'll be able to move around and jump like she's doing in the little gifts there. Keep these flash stacks in mind. They will be important later when flash attacks are explained in her Daiwo's passive. Support ability, Tundra's Frost, or Tundra's Turn, excuse me. It looks like she dashes up to people and does some damage, but let's read. Life fires a penetrating beam forward, dealing kinetic energy to enemies hit. Okay. Neuronics 1, enemies hit are stunned. Okay, cool. And then Neuronics 2 is if the beam only hits one enemy, damage is increased. Okay, cool. Ultimate ability, the Devil May Cry ability here. Throne of Devouring God. With the cool little animation. Awesome, awesome, awesome. She looks so sick, man. Okay, let's take a look. So Life enters the world vision state, dealing constant kinetic damage to multiple nearby enemies. During this time, Life gains increased CC resistance and damage reduction, but cannot dodge. Okay, so it's a constant ability where she can't dodge in the middle of it, and CC can't do anything. Enemies that are further away take less damage. Recasting this ability will end its duration early. Okay, so you have to be close to do the most damage, and if you cast the ability again, you can end the ability. The cooldown for this ability is over with, or begins, excuse me, once its duration ends. Passive, whenever Life marks an enemy with her standard ability, the cost of her ultimate is reduced for a period of time, refreshing whenever her standard ability is used. After the second cast of her ultimate, the ability cutscene will no longer be played. Really? Okay. So whenever she uses her standard ability, which is her little I guess we'll call it like flash attack essentially, it will reduce the overall cost of her ultimate. And she can ult for a second time just without the cutscene being played. Enemies take more damage from this ability for every extra mark that they have. Okay, cool. After using her ultimate ability, life standard and support ability cooldowns are refreshed. And her weapon is automatically reloaded. Wow. So that Neuronic is going to be pretty important. Or pretty useful, I would say. Daiwo's passive, Polar Predator. Once life accumulates enough flash stacks, her next dodge will consume all flash stacks. The dodge will cost less stamina, but consume ammo to deal critical hit to the targeted enemy. Damage is increased based on the alignment index value. If there's an insufficient amount of ammo, the damage dealt will be reduced. Okay, interesting. So her passive, once you accumulate the right amount of flash stacks, the dodge will consume the flash stacks, which is her flash attack essentially. And it will cost less stamina and also consume ammo to deal critical hit damage towards the enemy target. Interesting. Okay, so she pretty simple, guys. I mean, her flash, while she's shooting her regular flash attack, right, it will give you a essentially a mark, and the mark does extra damage. And as you're attacking, you'll get that mark, or excuse me, that flash attack constantly. And you'll keep kind of recharging that, and in the middle of that and the ultimate, there are all these extra passives that allow you to do extra damage. So, I mean, I can't really gauge if she'll be good, but just based off the damage alone, she looks pretty insane. She's obviously dual akimbos, and let me see if there's anything else here, guys. I think that's really it. Let me read this one more time. So this is her standard ability, Limitless Blade of Frost. So dashes, dealing damage, and marking nearby enemies. When enemy is marked, okay, got that. Life gains additional movement and dodge speed. Attacking enemies will generate flash stacks. Okay, yeah, so she just runs around getting flash stacks and then using that to get the marks. The marks do extra damage, and then you know, she's getting even closer to her ult, which will do damage to all nearby enemies, obviously. The more closer, the better. Yeah, she just seems like a fun character to run around with, guys. Yeah. Let me know if you guys got any questions. I'll leave a link for this on the website here. Shout out to Vikyush. And yeah, guys, I'm out. Later.